What's going on, gamers? It's phoxxtwo, and welcome back to another episode, the New Year's episode of the Comic Book Nerd Nation. Today I've got the Pirate.
Hey guys.
And I got Topher.
Hooday.
And we got the whole effing Brian.
Hi.
And we've also got special guest Articulation HD.
Hola.
All right. So, last week's episode was Christmas. This week's episode is New Year's. I think we should start things out with a New Year's toast. All right? Glasses up, everyone. I just have to show everybody what Brian's drinking out of there. Okay, perfect. Cheers to 2014.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, so let's get right into it. I mentioned last time that I'm getting really into the Forever Evil series. Brian, you kind of, mentioned it to me. I know Pirate, he's been reading it a lot too, and this has really kind of made me think a lot about the whole supervillain aspect of the comic book stuff. Because when you think about comic books, a lot of the time, correct me if I'm wrong, you're almost always thinking about the superheroes. That's what you immediately identify it with. So let's start out and just do the whole Forever Evil thing. If you had to be one supervillain, who would it be? Let's start with Articulation, since he's the new man on the show.
Ooh. I'm gonna be a stupid supervillain, and I would choose Heatwave. Heatwave's power is not really a power. It's kind of like he's got like a handgun-sized flamethrower. It's kind of useless. I don't know. I just think it's pretty stupid that he even is a villain.
That'd be way cooler if he was like a human microwave or something.
Yeah, exactly. But he has a
Killing kitties all over
handgun-sized.
the world.
Yeah, he has a handgun-sized flamethrower.
But think of the benefits, though. If you have a handgun-sized flamethrower, I mean,
Yeah.
think about how much popcorn you could make, like, fucking right now.
Orville don't stand a chance.
I'm just saying.
Or if you're in a
Orville Redenbacher stand
survival
down.
situation.
Popcorn, Hot Pockets, man.
Hot Pockets. See, that's why I'm saying that it would be awesome.
Me and Fox need to worry about lean pockets. Fuck hot
Lean
pockets.
pockets, yes.
I need to shed a few.
So, yeah, that's why I'm saying it would be neat if you had like a microwave, like in his stomach or some shit. Like put the Hot Pocket in. Oh, that'd be kind of redundant. You like put the Hot Pocket in your stomach to microwave it, and then you put it in your mouth to eat it. To go back to
Then
the
you
stomach.
would
Throw
then you
Hot
would look
Pockets.
Like Crane. Then you would look like Crane from Ninja Turtles with the microwave, so you have a brain,
Hot Pocket man. All right, Brian, what ridiculousness is in store over here?
Oh, I don't have ridiculous supervillain. One supervillain I would be Venom.
Venom.
Nice.
Come on, he's
It's
got
because
an
of the
alien.
tongue. It's because of the tongue.
because-
You guys
All the
you guys
legs
saw the
look
size of that tongue.
Chicks dig the tongue. But like,
You
who
could
would
tongue
not
punch
want?
anybody's cinnamon star from like 6 feet away with that thing.
Not only that, he has all Spider-Man's abilities. He could change his form. He could make you look like anybody you want. He could change your clothing, change your disguise. He's got webs. He's super strong, and he could change the density of his size. So why not? Go around, look like whoever you want. Make them look like a fool if you wanted to.
That's a good call. That's a good call. Topher, what about you? I think we might have lost Topher.
If we're allowed to go with former villains, if we're allowed to go with former villains, I think I'd have to go with Emma Frost, former White Queen of the Hellfire Club. Being a telepath, I mean, she can like figure all kinds of shit out, read people's minds, and she's hot as hell. So I mean, who wouldn't want to be in that body?
You'd be playing with your boobies all day.
I mean, yeah, I'd be hard as a diamond. Oh, but
She went there. Wow.
Another option, another good one though, if we can't do former villains, would be Lex Luthor. I mean, dude's like the richest motherfucker in the DC universe practically, and he's got all. At the end of the day, I mean, he's a bad guy, but he's still a respected businessman. He's run for president, you know. I mean, and he can buy just about anything he wants. You know, it's like he's a bad guy, but you know, so many bad guys suffer from being either ugly or insane, or ugly and insane, and he's pretty good.
Yeah, you're breaking up on us pretty bad.
Yeah.
But let me let's move on to Pirate.
I don't know. Like I start. There's a lot of them that I would like in individual abilities, but then when it all comes down to, I think I'm going to pick the Joker. And the reason why I picked the Joker is because he's so sadistic with everything he does. He turns anything into some fucking crazy thing like that is just far off the wall. Like you would have never expected to go that far. And then at the end of the day, he gets to go back and fuck Harley Quinn. So, going with the Joker.
Oh wow, that's fair enough. I hate it. I hate to say this, but Topher totally stole my thunder because my thoughts on this were exactly where he went with Lex Luthor. I mean, millionaire playboy, basically evil mastermind, has all the toys, all the money, all the wealth. Like anything that he wants, he can get it. The scenarios are endless. You know, I mean, you want to go on vacation? Let's buy an island. Like it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Like to me, that would be super cool. Plus, if you guys are into, have you guys been reading? I know Brian and Pirate. I don't know if you've read the newest issue of Forever Evil, but
I got it. It's on my stack. I got to read that one.
But yeah, Lex
Read it
Luthor
already.
is like right on the, you know, he's right there on that like border of villain or hero. You know, he's almost like an anti-hero, not quite a super villain, but like a, you know, somewhere in that gray area between the two.
Another villain I would definitely want to be is probably one of the baddest ass villains in DC Universe, but Sinestro.
Oh,
That's who I thought about originally, especially when
Good
he said Forever
choice.
Evil.
Come on,
that's
he controls
a really good choice.
the everything yellow ring. He controls Parallax. He controls everything. All fear.
Just the whole idea of and I know we've talked about this before, but the whole idea of the rings, the lantern rings, you know, the green rings, the yellow rings, you know, the red rings. I think there's purple also, isn't there?
There's blue, pink, white, black.
Yeah, I mean,
yellow.
there's a bunch of them, but man, just the idea of basically whatever you think of can be you know, you can utilize. That's just freaking crazy. You know, that would be, oh man.
Well, would Hal Jordan be
And
considered
he's got
Parallax?
yeah,
then?
and Brian happens to have
That would
three
be
of
an
them.
awesome one.
I have 6 of them. I just don't have enough fingers.
Brian, you have 10 fingers.
I know, but on one hand. I'm not
What the fuck? What happened to Brian?
It's
Comic
late.
book navigation brings stupidity to a whole nother level.
But the Lantern Corps only wears their rings on the right hand, so obviously.
I don't have enough right hands.
I bet there's a doctor out there that could take care of that.
You
for
can relocate your thumb, and pinky.
Oh man. Okay, so.
He can put it on something else that he uses his right hand for a lot.
Oh. It's a cock ring of life.
Why are your pants glowing green? It's my new power cock ring.
Okay, so growing up, we all watched cartoons, and you know, our articulation's a little bit. He's a little bit younger, maybe in a different generation, so it might be different cartoons. But I'm sure, you know, him being a comic book fan like the rest of us, that cartoons played somewhat of a significant part of his childhood. For me, growing up, the big cartoons were Mask and G.I. Joe. And I'm sure the rest of you guys probably remember I see Topher over there smiling and giving me the nod. What other great childhood cartoons can you just remember that just are, you know, just stand out in your memory as reminding you of being a kid? Pirate?
Thundercats,
Ooh.
and Silverhawks.
Oh, I forgot about Silverhawks.
Okay, wait a minute.
Those
Pause
two
here
really
for a
stand
second.
out.
Pause here for a second. Articulation. Being the youngest member of the group, do you or do you not remember the Thundercats?
The Thundercats, honestly don't remember them.
You do not know what the Thundercats are.
No.
I feel like
Thundercats.
yeah. I
Thundercats.
feel like we need to do that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I was just waiting for somebody. To give the Thundercat yell. Well, we'll have to have a little lesson about that at some point.
By the Eye of Chitara.
Topher, what's your number one childhood memory? I know you're about
my
to say
number
Power
one-
Rangers, aren't you?
No. My number one favorite was He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
Oh,
Yeah. Muscular
That was
dude that looks like he's wearing
always-
oil and man
watched the-
panties.
With the girl haircut.
yeah, and he can never tell his dad his
you know-
secret, and he's got a skeleton in his closet. Who's there?
Well, yes,
Topher is completely speechless. He doesn't know what to do. He's like, they're coming at me from all angles.
it's no, actually, the writer of that series was J. Michael Straczynski, who went on to write. He wrote for Babylon 5.
Did he
He was
also
one of the
write
creators of
Brokeback
Babylon
Mountain?
5.
I did not know that.
No, but he also he's also a comic book writer, and he was actually writing Spider-Man, and he was the writer who actually quit when Joe Quesada said that they needed to do the one more day deal with Mephisto storyline. He was like, "Fuck it, I quit. I'm out of here."
Wow.
Brian, what about you? Childhood memories.
Come on, nobody's gonna say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes! Thank
Yeah,
you!
that's
Thank
true.
you.
That's my favorite show ever.
Pick a turtle. You got to pick a turtle. Just one.
Michelangelo.
Yes.
Such a-
Donatello.
you're such a weird-
Michelangelo. Coming from the electrical engineer, of course you're going to say Donatello.
Yeah.
I would pick Leonardo.
Ah.
He was always my favorite.
As you lead Nerd Nation to victory.
I do love Leonardo. All right, Articulation HD. First of all, I cannot let you escape this question without picking a Ninja Turtle because you damn well better know who the Ninja Turtles are.
I definitely know who the Ninja Turtles are, and I'd have to go with Leonardo.
There we go. That's
well.
what I'm talking about. High five. Boom! Internet high
no-
five. That's what's up.
Nobody likes Raphael.
I was going to say, no love for rap, huh?
No, he's a dick.
Raph was
Nobody
my
likes
second
him.
favorite. He was an asshole.
Okay, so your favorite childhood, and this is the rest of us grew up in the '80s, so this is likely gonna be a significantly different. I mean, this is basically a different era of cartoons. This is computer generated
Barney
graphics and all kinds of stuff like that.
Teletubbies.
I would have to go with the Spider-Man series, like the one that started in the '90s.
Okay, all right. I'm not personally.
You guys know who that is?
Yeah,
Like
yes,
what-
we know who Spider-Man
Not
is. Are
not
you
Spider-Man,
fucking-
but have you seen this series?
He's on a goddamn comic. He's on a
No.
comic book podcast asking us if we know who Spider-Man is.
He's like, these motherfuckers ain't got nothing on me. I know who
Okay.
Spider-Man is.
That's
Bringing the heat. Oh god.
And along with Spider-Man, another series that was shown at that same time, my other favorite series as a kid was the X-Men cartoon from the early 90s.
Oh, yeah, they
Honestly, that cartoon is what got me into comic books.
They put that on Netflix recently, actually,
Yeah.
and I've been watching. Pirate, you said you were watching some of that.
Yeah, I'm going back through it all, yeah.
Yeah, I watched a handful of those.
I had the theme song as my ringtone for a while. That's
Oh,
how much I like that show.
Yeah, that show was pretty awesome.
They've actually added a
Yeah.
lot of the X-Men ones. They got Wolverine in the X-Men. They got X-Men animated series. They got Uncanny X-Men. I think they added on there. They've added a lot of shit with Netflix with X-Men. I'm actually impressed.
What's funny, one of those X-Men shows, I think it was X-Men Evolution, that was the show that the character X-23 actually started in. She was originally written as a character for the show, and she was such a popular fan favorite that the writers actually wrote her into the comics.
Really? Was X-Men Evolution, was that the one that they was that the series that first had Cable and Bishop come in from the future?
No, that was the animated series.
Oh, was that the first animated series?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's piggyback off of that question since we're talking about childhood memories and cartoon characters and all that, like thinking back, what were some of the main toys that you had when you were a kid that really remind you of being a kid? When you think back about your childhood and the memories of playing with your friends and stuff like that, what was the one or two big toys? I mean, they didn't have to be big, but standout toys that really remind you of that golden era of your childhood, if you will. Brian?
Probably G.I. Joes. I had
Joes,
like
nice.
tons of the vehicles, tons of the actual G.I. Joes, and then when I got too old for them, we blew them up on the 4th of July.
Okay, so wait a minute. Before I go on to anybody else, I have a feeling that several of us are going to be G.I. Joes, and I think Pirate's probably going to get some right now. But, okay, so G.I. Joes, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think every guy that grew up in the 80s was like this, that you had one G.I. Joe that you had to be every time you played. Who was it?
Snake Eyes. Who didn't want to be the
Damn, that was mine too.
Who didn't want to be the ninja?
So me and you were basically going to fist fight over the Snake Eyes, or there was going to be two of them.
Sword fight.
Now. That's that. I don't want to go there. All right, so Topher.
Well, I had G.I. Joes too, and my favorite was always Sergeant Slaughter. But
Ooh, good choice.
The only real-life G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also had I had a ton of I had damn near every Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle action figure ever made. I had a ton of Transformers, and I had a ton of He-Mans. And no, I did not rub oil on their chests, but they were a lot of fun too.
What about you, Pirate?
Well, you mentioned Mask earlier. I had every Mask from the first two series. I had Boulder or Bunker Hill, the gas station. But the main toys that fucking make me fucking think of my childhood, Super Friends.
Oh, let's go! Let's go!
Check it out.
I love it.
Oh, that's the lights.
He's
Where's
still got it, and it
the
still
with
works.
the battery? Let me catch the Joker.
Oh,
Where's it at? Yes, dude.
Oh,
I
that's
had
fantastic.
the
I
Hall
had
of
that same
Justice.
toy, and I have completely forgotten about it.
I
I have
all
that
of
same
them.
one in my basement somewhere.
Yeah, dude. Which I had Superman's plane. To this day, I still can't figure out why he had one.
Yeah, why does Superman need a plane? Just tell me that.
Lex Luthor's Walker. I had Darkseid's little cockpit plane where you could pull the cockpit out. I had all of them. And then I had even the Marvel version too of them. It was, dude, this stuff makes me think. I remember waking up Christmas where Mom had them all laid out, and I unwrapped them
Peed yourself
before they
first.
even came down. Yeah, like, fuck you, you guys can't get up early enough. It's your own damn fault. So
I've got Wonder Woman's jet right here. See?
Oh, yeah, nice.
Yeah, the
It's looking pretty good. The
jet.
invisible jet.
Looks just like it.
For
Just
me,
like I remembered it.
for me, it was He-Man. Even though I really wasn't big on the.
Oh, so you made fun of me when I said it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I was not big on the cartoon very much, but the action figures and stuff, I think because they were bigger than the G.I. Joes, made them a little bit more fun. But I don't know. But anyway,
He-Man was bigger than a G.I. Joe, huh?
what I think about is the castles, the green, was it Castle Grayskull?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Skull.
Snake Mountain.
And
or-
then
Snake
Snake Mountain
Mountain
was
was
the
the best.
purple one, right? The purple.
Where you had the hand puppet to grab them and
glove.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I had both of those, and I was just up at the local flea market this morning and saw a place, and they're selling those things for like $150 now.
Oh yeah.
It's unbelievable to me, like, all these toys that we had growing up, and you go through and you see these collectors things, and we probably, most of them just threw them away or gave them away to charity
Nah,
or
they're all
passed
in my
them
parents'
down
basement still.
Or blew
I know.
them up.
or blew them up with fireworks.
I still have.
Dude,
I
my
got rid
G.I.
of
Joes
so
did
many.
get blown up. My G.I. Joes did. I remember there was one time I had Cobra Commander caught Duke and was like torturing him, so I took my parents' lighter and was burning his face to simulate torture.
Jesus!
Yeah, dude. Like,
Oh my
I used to
God.
get really
Oh,
in-depth with that
man.
shit with G.I. Joe, man. Like, I had him racked out and shit, dude, and I'm like Cobra Commander, I'm like holding the lighter and like putting it to Duke's face. Like, give me the intel. Like, no, dude. Like, Duke didn't give it up though. Duke's a beast, man. He
Yeah,
fucking
and
never.
he's forever
he never
scarred
ratted.
and demented. Like
Hey, that just shit. Hey, it's war, but dude, war's hell, man.
articulation. What do you got? Favorite toy growing up?
The Spider-Man action figures. Just watching Spider-Man as a kid, I needed the action figures to go along with it.
All right, all
So,
right.
yeah.
I don't think I ever had any Spider-Man action figures
I never did
or
either.
anything like that. I remember.
No,
and
I did have one.
This
for
was
the
probably
Marvel one, yeah.
before. This was definitely before Articulation's time. But Brian, you might be able to remember this, and Topher and John, or Pirate, sorry. You might be able to remember this. There was like, I don't know if it was a made-for-TV movie or a TV series or what it was, but it was not animated at all, and it was Spider-Man. And I want to say there was like 2 or 3 of them, and it was.
I remember he rode
it was
around
in
on
the
a dirt
80s.
bike.
Yeah, yeah, and
I
they
remember
had it
that,
like
yeah.
they had it was
They had
on like
toys?
TBS or TNT like all the time around holidays for whatever reason. I don't know what Spider-Man has to do with like Easter, but there'd be like a Spider-Man marathon for like 4 hours on Easter, and I would always watch them, and I loved them, even though I had seen them all like 2, 3, 4 times. I absolutely loved them, and I mean, do you guys remember? Do you remember that, Pirate?
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Like, I was weird because he rode around on a dirt bike, and I think there was even cameos with like Captain America,
See, I
and
don't
a
think
couple
that's
of other
the one.
characters.
I don't think that's the one that I saw. The-
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, dude. It was like a late '70s, but he
I feel like we have some comic book nerd nation homework now to try and figure out exactly what that was.
Oh man, homework.
Pirate and I will take that homework. We'll figure that out. We're gonna do some investigatory situations.
investigatory.
Yeah. Screw you.
We're gonna do some barroom googling. Goddamn it!
Barroom googling. So, if you had to be a sidekick to any superhero, who would you want to be? Now, this is a tough question, I think, because now it's not about being that person that's necessarily in the spotlight. It's that person that's always in the shadow. So it's, do you want a lot of attention? Do you want to be somebody that's a little less infamous and not noticed as much? What do you think, Articulation? If you had to be a sidekick, could be a supervillain sidekick, could be a superhero sidekick.
I would have to go with Robin.
Okay, so you want to be like
Lots of
right
people-
there in the action.
Yeah.
Wearing
Basically, yeah.
tights.
It's just the
Wearing
tights.
Getting
It's
killed
the
by
elf
the
Wearing
Joker.
tights and a little eye
Nothing
cover
like,
mask
nothing like
thing.
the green banana hammock to bring out
Yeah.
to bring out the superhero in you.
Yeah.
Brian, what about you?
I'd have to say Robin too, because I mean, you're trained by the best detective in all of superhero history. You're
Yeah.
trained by one of the best fighters.
Yeah.
You're like a junior Batman.
And you grow up to be great heroes. Like,
Yeah, you're
like you got
Nightwing.
Nightwing, Red Hood, whatever. I mean, even though he was resurrected and kind of went crazy, but
All right, fair enough. Topher, what about you? Sidekick.
Yeah, it's hard to think of somebody other than Robin as a prominent sidekick in comics. I mean, especially if you're going with Dick Grayson. I mean, he's Nightwing now. He actually even became, Batman for a while when Batman disappeared. But I'm going to change it up a little bit and pick a different one, and I'm going to go with Kitty Pryde's pet dragon, Lockheed.
wow.
Oh man,
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
All right.
Touche.
Way to dig deep in the chest of nerdy goodness. I see what you did there. Pirate, what do you got?
Well, originally I was going to pick Robin until everybody else fucking picked him. So now I'm just going to like, you know what? I'm going to be different for the sake of conversation piece. I'm going to say Red Arrow.
Okay. Okay. So you want to be the sidekick to the Green Arrow series?
Yeah, like, because he's pretty much like once he gets where he's at, they're pretty much equals for the most part. I mean, Green Arrow's still a better shot, but I mean, he's got the like overpowering strength. You know, even though he did have a heroin problem there at the beginning, but you know,
I mean, come on. You can't really judge him for that.
You know, I mean, the guy's nickname's Speedy, and then he ends up addicted to heroin.
Well,
I don't know, but
fits.
whatever.
But
it's cool.
So I know you're big on the new Arrow series, and you got me hooked on it. So hold your thoughts on that. We're going to come back and we're going to actually talk about the Arrow television show because we haven't talked about that yet, and I am now wildly addicted to it.
Oh, I don't have to worry about spoiler alerts. Good, finally.
No.
see, Pirate. I thought you were going to say Bucky Barnes.
We all dropped the ball and forgot about Bucky.
Oh, we lost.
Chris.
We lost
he left
Topher.
on that note.
Maybe we'll get him back in here. If you want to send him an invite, there, Pirate. So anyway,
I'll figure that out.
we will try to get him back in here. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
For the sake of not putting his email address out there for everyone in the world to see, I am not going to pull his email address up out of respect for him. But my choice for sidekick, I'm gonna totally twist this in a complete other direction from what you guys were doing, and I'm gonna go with Harley Quinn.
You just want to play with your own boobs.
I mean,
I don't blame
not a
him,
bad.
though.
I mean, that's not a bad perk, I guess. But if you think about it, okay, she's sidekick to probably one of the most prolific supervillains in the history of comics. I mean, It's hard to argue. It's hard to argue with the fact that anybody else is really up there as far as supervillains like the Joker. Not even Superman's villain of Lex Luthor is as big as the Joker. You know, I really feel like the Joker is probably the most well-known and renowned of the super villains that are out there. So, you've got that going for you as far as mentorship, I guess. If you want to be a diabolical genius, you've got the craziest of crazies as your mentor. But secondly, she's always having fun. Like, no matter what she does, she always puts a fun twist on it. You know what I mean? So it's like the whole mentality of like, just live, you know, you only get to live life once, so you might as well have fun while you're doing it. Well, she's kind of taking that to the like way extreme, you know?
She's a lot more to the Joker. I mean, like, I think
they're definitely significant others.
Well, no,
kind
I mean,
of.
It's funny because like the Joker, when you see him, he's all. I think it was Paul Dini. I don't know who it was who wrote this like henchman perspective of the Joker, like from, you know, not his era, you know, and it was like they had there was a scene where like a guy is walking by, like one of Joker's henchmen walks by the room, like Joker's room. And even though Joker's always like beating on Harley and like calling her names and, you know, just cutting her down all the time, there's a scene where he walks by a room, there's a door cracked open, and Joker's like bent over crying. And Harley Quinn's like standing there, like, you know, being this like stone wall. Like, yeah, and like talking shit to him, like, you know, you're a pussy, like, and like, so behind closed doors, she like talk shit to the Joker,
but
and,
I think
puts
that's
him in
kind
his
of
place.
But
it's
I
awesome.
think that's kind of what he needs in his life too.
I'm
though.
sure. I mean,
like,
it's
that's
pretty
kind of,
fucked up.
that's kind of, you know, like they say, like, you know, I'm sure you've all heard it, like, behind every great man there's a great woman. You know, I think there's a little bit. I think there's a little bit of truth to that, though. You know what I mean? If you think about it, like,
I put it behind every great woman there's me.
Oh my god!
Literally.
You know, every once in a while, everybody needs somebody
Sneaking
to
up,
lean
creeping on them.
Yeah. Giving him the DD, the deep dick.
I'm sorry if I keep looking down at my phone for everybody that's watching my camera. I'm trying to see if I can get Topher back in here, but we'll see. Little technical difficulties. Okay, so we all answered Robin, and then you went with somebody because I wasn't really listening to you.
Right
Because your answers aren't important. But anyway, no. So let's talk for a minute about the Arrow, the series. I didn't enjoy it at first, and this is why. let me explain myself before I get completely just virtually jumped by the rest of you. But I was never a fan of the Green Arrow series. I never read the Green Arrow, so I knew very, very little about it. I knew very little about the Birds of Prey, correct? Pirate?
Yeah, Birds of Prey is not. They've
That's
kind of like
part of it. But anyway,
yeah, with the Huntress they tied it in a little bit.
I
but
just
it's not
didn't
really
know
a lot of it.
many of the characters of the series other than like obviously Deathstroke. Everybody in their right mind knows who Deathstroke is. And if you don't, you're doing life wrong. But I because I couldn't identify with it right away, it wasn't as interesting to me. But I had, Pirate came over, we cracked open a couple adult beverages, and we watched a handful of episodes, and he kind of explained to me who some of the characters were, what some of the background was, and gave me a little bit more of the inside information. And since then, I've read a few of the Green Arrow comics, and I am now caught up, and I absolutely love it. We're going to get to you, Pirate, because I know you're very, very informed and opinionated about this topic. But we're going to
Brian is too.
We're going to jump over to articulation and see what he has. Have you seen this show at all?
I think I've seen half of one episode. I didn't really get into it.
Kick
Honestly, yeah.
I would highly recommend, as a person coming from the same situation as you, I didn't know about it. I didn't really, I was like, whatever, it's cool. It's a guy that has, he's really
runs around with his shirt
he's really
off all
good
the time.
he's really good with a bow. Like, sweet, cool story, bro.
Yeah.
But
The millionaire version of
I
Hawkeye.
love the show. You have to stick with it. You have to watch. I think the whole first season is on Netflix, and then I got the second season on Amazon for like $1.99 an episode.
Okay.
And it is worth it if you stick through if you stick through to get the whole story. It's worth watching all of the episodes just for like the last 4 that they just did.
Absolutely.
The last 4 episodes are like almost movie quality good. Like, is how good the story is. It's incredible.
Awesome.
Brian?
I was the same as you. I watched maybe 5 episodes when the first season first started, and then stopped, and then started watching religiously at the start of the second season, and then went back and caught up. But I love the show. It's better than Smallville.
I never saw Smallville.
Oh,
I
Smallville
want to
was
go
like
back
a
and
mockery.
watch it. But
Smallville
liked
was a mockery on.
It was a mockery, but I liked it. It was very different perspectives on the relationship between Lex Luthor and Clark Kent, Lois Lane. It was just a different perspective, but it was all right. I liked it.
But I like what they're doing with Arrow. I mean, you got your CW teenage love stories going on throughout it, but I think the action and the storytelling and his when they tell you about his past and on the island, I thought it was great. I mean,
I love the parts when they go to the island.
Yeah,
It's like I'll watch an entire episode hoping for more
For a snippet.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
give me 5 more minutes on the island so I can see some more of the training, some
Yeah.
more, some more
Slade.
Deathstroke, some more, anything, just anything on the island. All of that stuff is so interesting. So I'm really looking forward to the second part of this season.
Plus, they introduced Barry Allen, and you saw him get struck by the lightning. Spoiler alert.
Total boner.
Okay, what do you think about the character for Barry Allen? I'm going to chime in here first because I'm probably the least informed on the DC side of things as far as comics go of the group. I don't know about articulation. Maybe he's a little bit more than me. But anyway, Barry Allen is in the newest one. For those of you that don't know, I don't know why you would be watching this if you didn't know that Barry Allen is the Flash. And they have several episodes where he makes an appearance and it's leading up to how he becomes the Flash. And in the very last moments of the last episode that we just saw before the mid-season break, the accident occurs. I don't want to completely ruin it for you if you haven't seen it, but the accident occurs and he, becomes the Flash essentially. I don't think he has discovered his powers yet or anything, but like that. But my concerns are with the character, the actor that they chose for the role of Barry Allen. Okay, Barry Allen is a CSI in the comic books. Correct me if I'm wrong. But
you're right. Forensic scientist.
At least in this one, they addressed the fact that the actor they picked looks very, very young. Very young. I'm talking like articulation age young. Okay? So, it's a little young to be a CSI. That takes many years of school to accomplish that kind of career. But they addressed it in calling him an apprentice. If you watch closely in one of the episodes, they address that issue that he looks young, so they say that he's not actually a CSI, but he's a very, very talented and very what's the word I'm looking for? Like wise beyond his years, I guess. Very intelligent, overly intelligent assistant to a CSI. So that kind of makes sense if he's like a protege, type of person. But I think that as the Flash, he will work just fine because he has that build about him, very, kind of gangly and, the Flash himself. I don't envision the Flash to be like an overly like a Captain America build. I see the Flash as somebody that's like gangly and skinny and, stuff like that. Brian, what are your
Ethiopian
thoughts?
fast?
I think he seems to be. I mean, we won't see him actually be the Flash until they premiere the television show.
You don't think he'll make a guest appearance in the?
They said he was supposed to be the Flash in episode 20 of this season of Arrow, but they canned that episode to just start with the pilot of the Flash television show. That's been all over the place already. So unfortunately, we won't get to see him when we were supposed to. But I think, he'll be well. I mean, they're all supposed to be younger than. I mean, I think Oliver Queen in the television show, if you do the math,
I think he said he's
supposed to be
20s.
I think he's supposed to be like 23, 25, oldest.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. But I think it'll go well. I think, they'll know what they're doing with this, and plus, Jeff Johns has something to do with all this. So they have the backing of the actual DC writers and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it'll end up being pretty good. Pirate, I know you've got lots to say. I've saved you for last on this topic because I've talked to you extensively about all of this. Your thoughts specifically on Barry Allen as a character.
Just on Barry Allen?
For now.
All right. Well,
I'm throttling you back a little bit.
My with Barry Allen, the moment he was, I was, reading through all the media and stuff like that, knew when he was coming in, and obviously it doesn't say the Flash, it says Barry Allen, but anybody like Fox stated is if you listen to this show, you know who Barry Allen is. He's the Flash. You're like, oh shit, when's it gonna happen? Is he? Can I knew that the Flash show was coming in the fall, so I was like wondering if he's already gonna be the Flash, if he's gonna become the Flash on this show, if he's not. It was just kind of up in the air, but. I remember there was a scene on the first episode where Barry Allen helps Oliver Queen and Felicity Smoke brings him in to help him, and he's like, in this lair, and he sees that the vigilante, and the whole reason why he's there is to quote unquote, find the vigilante and to help him. And I think it was Brian that me and him talked about on Facebook about this was Barry Allen's reference to the Reverse Flash.
Yeah, how he saw a man in a blur or a man like Tornado or something like that.
Ooh,
yeah, that was it.
I didn't catch that.
I didn't either until Brian laid that on me, and I was like, holy shit, he did say that.
I'm going to have to go back and check that out.
Right, and that was the whole reason why he sought out the vigilante and all this, But there was a scene specifically that I loved about the 2 episodes that Barry Allen was in, where he goes down there and he's talking to Felicity Smoke, and there's a thunderstorm happening. and lightning's crashing, and he's like, "Oh my God, your arrangement of these chemicals is horrible."
The
and
chemicals.
he's arranging it, and I was like,
that.
"Oh, this is it. This is where he
It's
gets
gonna
zapped,
happen. It's gonna happen.
And it didn't happen, and I was like, "Fuck, that was
We're
so
gonna
well
see
placed."
it. We're gonna see it.
And then when the particle accelerator goes off at the last bit, but when I went back and watched that second or the first half of the second season, I noticed that when Oliver Queen comes back from the island, when Diggle and Felicity Smoke get him back, they talk about the missing particle accelerator. And that was in the very first news clip as soon as he comes back. And then it's like, in other news, Oliver Queen's returned.
Yeah.
And then the last clip of the news on the first half of the season was the particle accelerator, and then it goes off. And then that's when, well, spoiler alert, Barry Allen becomes the Flash. So, yeah.
Spoiler alert, 1, 2, 3. In case you didn't know already.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I loved it.
Okay, so favorite comic book series thus far? If you had to pick comic books.
Like
Comic
from
book-
everything we've ever read?
Anything you've ever read. Articulation, you're up to bat.
Oh.
In the headlights. It's a tough
Yeah.
one. It's a tough one because the choices are just vast. I tell you what, I'll come back to you. To you so you can all think I will go first. And I have to say, and obviously my choice is probably going to be influenced based on what I've read recently, just because I don't know, like things always seem better when you read them recently. But excuse me, I'm going to have to say Age of Ultron series for me was awesome. I absolutely loved the way that they involved multiple universes, multiple time strands within the Marvel universe, multiple time versions of the same characters, and they just really they laid it all together in a way that's not like overly confusing either. So it's very readable. When you try and talk to the average person about, the idea of a multiverse or alternate realities based on, the time-space continuum or something like that, they're going to be like, what?
Laying the string theory out, aren't you?
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be just like way over their head, like gone. Like, I saw Back to the Future. You know what I mean? Like, Doc Brown never talked about Spider-Man before. But you know what I'm saying? Like, but they made this so readable that you can really, through reading those, I think it was 11 it was 10 issues plus a 10 AI, which is the introduction into the Avengers artificial intelligence series, which I'm starting to read now. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I'm going to go ahead and read it because I have them all. But the Age of Ultron series is just an 11-book series. I would highly, and to any fan of the Marvel Universe, I would highly recommend you pick this up. You can get it on Comic Collector Live. I think there's a place called Play. Where did I order it from? Play the Game, Read the Story is a shop on Comic Collector Live, and I picked them up for $1 a comic.
Wow.
And if you spend like $26, you get free shipping, which
is that the one that's
easy.
got number 10 or 11's black bagged?
Yeah, number 10 is actually black bag, which I'll probably buy another one and keep it in the black bag, but I cut mine open so I could read it because I wanted to find out what the hell happened. But
why wait for the trade paperback?
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's amazing. I don't know if any of you have read the story, but I would highly, highly recommend it to a friend. Articulation. Back to you.
Just being a Marvel fangirl, I'm just gonna have to go with the Avengers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I really enjoy like the story with all of them together as I don't know how to explain it in words.
I like that too. You get like it's like a buffet of superhero goodness.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what you're doing over there, articulation, but I swear it looks like you're at a disco club.
He looks like he's sitting by a lava lamp.
Oh, my TV's on. There we go.
I swear it looks like you're at a disco club. It's like red, blue, green, yellow,
So
white.
articulation. Is there a
I was at a
specific,
TV.
like run of the Avengers that you liked, more like a story run, like a 6-7 miniseries run or anything like that you really enjoyed reading about?
I honestly enjoyed all of them.
Okay.
Like I've only read I think 2 volumes, but yeah, I've enjoyed all of them.
Okay.
Okay, Pirate, what's yours?
I just went back and read again Frank Miller's Dark Knight Rises, and I think that has to be probably my favorite, just because there's so many clip scenes in it, and I've showed you this, Fox, and
I'm gonna have to borrow that from you to read it.
Yeah, because there's a scene where he's running at 2 attack choppers, and he uses guns and shit in it,
Don't
and
ruin
like,
it for me now.
well, but I'm just saying though, he's
Spoiler
running across a
queen over
tightrope.
here.
He like shoots a grappling hook, runs across a tightrope from like rooftop to rooftop, towards these attack choppers shooting at him, and the whole time he's thinking like, this would be a good death. Like this
Yeah.
could be, I could go out and be fine with this.
It's that
And
Dark Knight coming out.
And if Frank Miller and Klaus Jensen would have never done that piece, then the movies that we know of Batman today, starting with Tim Burton, Michael Keaton, would have not existed.
Right.
That started.
It laid the groundwork.
The dark age of all comic work, in my opinion, dude. Like, and and I read, and the only reason why I really went back to want to read that was because I read a podcast. I believe it was with Kevin Smith. I don't know if it was.
You read a podcast?
Or not read it. Listened to a podcast, and it was talking. Kevin Smith was talking.
Make sure
about
you
it,
gentlemen
one of
all
those guys-
read this podcast thoroughly.
Right. It'll be big letters. Don't worry. But yeah, so he said, like, he's like, man, that was he claimed it as literature with pictures. And I went back and read it again, and I'm like, I've already read it 3 times, like in the past few weeks, and it's just because I always catch something else. It's amazing.
To interject, dude. I feel the same way with what you just said about literature with pictures. I feel the same way about the New 52, and this probably not to the same extent, but New 52 Justice League Dark is, in my opinion, one of the best current comics out there. The way that it's written is just, I love it. I can't get enough of it. But anyway, back to Brian. Favorite series?
My favorite series was Mark Millar's, not to be confused with Frank Miller, Mark Millar's Old Man Logan, which was basically an 8-part miniseries, own story, had nothing to do with any other story that was going on at the time, where basically the supervillains somehow took over the world, and it's a story about Logan, Wolverine, and Hawkeye going from California, which is Hulk territory, to I forgot the name of the place, but basically it was the Washington, D.C. of this villain-run United States.
Red Hulk territory or Green Hulk territory?
Green Hulk territory.
I can't believe that they're classifying Green Hulk as a villain.
Dude, you need to read it, because the Hulk has his own gang, and they're all inbreded Hulk people, rednecks.
Really?
Yeah. And then
I don't know that I would like it.
Like, and for some reason, like, when you start reading the story, Wolverine won't plop his claws or fight, or won't go by Wolverine anymore. He just goes by Logan, and it's an incredible story.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try and get my hands on that. That sounds pretty good. Pretty interesting.
I won't drop any spoilers like Pirate does.
Yeah,
I suck at that game.
The spoiler queen.
Oh, fuck you. I'm at least gotta be a fucking whatever.
So, okay, I just want to take a few minutes here and get up on the podium. And first of all, I want to thank Articulation for coming out.
Thanks for having me.
You are more than welcome to have a seat in the podcast anytime you would like it. So we will try to have you back. Seems like you maybe had a good time.
Yeah.
If you guys would like to check out his YouTube channel, it's youtube.com/articulationhd. And you have a Twitch channel as well, correct?
Yeah.
Twitch.tv/articulationhd.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay. So make sure you guys check those out if you guys are into video games as well as comics. It's just people having fun playing video games, and that's what it's all about. Enjoying
Appreciate
this
that.
life while we're here. Secondly, Pirate is good friends with a gentleman that runs a comic book convention in Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah,
Louisville, Kentucky, and also a very, very amazing comic book website with lots of reviews, news, other podcasts. We're working hard to get our podcast put up on their website as well. And I would highly recommend all of you go check it out, and I would appreciate it greatly if you did. It's www.comicrelated.com. It's a great website with lots of information, lots of news about what's upcoming, what's where the story arcs are headed, where they've been, things like that. So it's great for the comic book nerd, just like myself and all of you that are probably watching this for the last 50 minutes. So, that being said, Happy New Year's to everybody out there in the Comic Book Nerd Nation. We will continue to bring you episodes every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. That's New Comic Book Day. What better day to talk about comic books? And I am working hard with the rest of the Comic Book Nerd Nation team to make this available in audio format on iTunes as well as Google, what's it called now? Google
Play or something
Google
like
Play
that.
for Android. So we want to try and get this available on Android devices as well as Apple devices for you guys if you just want to listen to it on your way to work or while you're working, outside or whatever you want to do. So if you like the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Give us some feedback. Let us know what you'd like to hear us talk about. And we're working hard to have some giveaways soon. And also, we will be having some special guests on the show before too long. So, as always, guys, have a great day, and thanks for watching. This is phoxxtwo, and we've got the Pirate,
Yay! See you guys.
Brian,
Bye.
and Articulation HD.
Have a happy new year.
Have a great day, guys.